What's going on, everybody? Sean Pierce Johnson here for another Stompbox Saturday, and on the stomping block today is the Fulltone Catalyst, coming courtesy of my good buddy, the metal one, Metal Devin. Thanks for bringing it over, buddy. This is a sick pedal. If you haven't seen the Fulltone Catalyst, check it out. It's definitely worth a look. It is probably one of the most versatile dirt box pedals that I've ever come across. It does everything from boost to fuzz, and everything in between. Don't believe me? Let's check it out. Now, on the front face, you're going to find 4 knobs and a switch. We got controls for volume, gain, bass, mids, and treble. Then the switch in the middle, spark and flame. Now, we started off on the spark setting, and to give you just an idea of what the spark setting does, this is kind of like your boost to mild overdrive kind of setting. Right at the beginning, I had just a slight bit of grit added on top of my dirty channel with a fair, like pretty much at unity gain. So let's check it out on the clean sound. I'm just gonna be running my Orange Rock Reverb's clean channel, and this is what I got so far. And when I hit really hard, it has a fair amount of breakup. It's not totally clean, but when I pick lightly, it's pretty clean. So let's go ahead and just boost that up a little bit. Right now I've got the volume and gain each running about 3 o'clock on the dial. The gain is a little bit above it, the volume is a little bit past that. I'm running the treble all the way up, and the bass and mids are just about at 11 o'clock on the spark setting. So clean, and then we'll boost it. Bring back the volume knob so we don't clip. So as you can see, it behaves pretty much exactly like my clean tone does. Soft when I pick lightly, and then when I'm playing hard, it breaks up. It's also adding a nice bit of chime. So let's check out how dynamic this thing can respond to the guitar's volume and tone knobs. I'm going to just goose the gain, keep the volume right about where we are. We got the EQ knobs all set at 12 o'clock on the dial, and let's see what we got and maybe go with a little bit of sissy strut. let's see what the flame setting can do. I'll back off the volume a little bit, keep the EQ knobs at 12 o'clock on the dial, gain's gonna be at 3, and let's see what we start out with. Now we're already kind of in fuzz territory, which is cool. Well, I like fuzz, and I especially like full-tone fuzzes, so let's get a little fuzzy. Bass mids, let's put them at about 3 o'clock, dial back the treble, goose the gain, and let's just go full bore. Wow, that's pretty fuzzy. Well, in my opinion, fuzz pedals always sound better in front of a slightly crunchy amplifier, so why don't we go ahead and do that. Not bad, not bad. That's pretty fuzzy. Well, you know what I've noticed about using this pedal, and I've only really gotten to know it over, the 10 minutes before I started doing this video, is how unique the EQ structure is. Just gonna jack the treble up all the way, and I want you guys to really kind of hear how that interacts with the overall sound. And I find it very interesting. It doesn't ever really get that overbearing. So starting out with a clean tone, which I already have like a decent amount of brightness on it. That doesn't come across all that like harsh to my ears. I mean, it's a little loud, but it's not ice picks in the ear. It's not overly, scratchy, so to speak. But I really like the way that it comes across. It's very nice. And of course you can dial it back to brighten it up, to darken it up. And at that point it's just like really smooth, kind of getting into that old school, like overdriven amp kind of sound. Now let's check out boosting up the bass mids and see what that gets us. Now it's starting to sound like a really old fuzz unit that just is kind of like being really driven. Maybe the bias is a little off, but it's definitely kind of spongy, I guess I could say. Now let's get in front of a dirty amp. I'm telling you, like, I'm really digging how this pedal is sounding. I'm not really finding a bad setting on it. I think I really like it as a slightly gritty boost on my dirty sound best of all, but even as just a standalone distortion and as a standalone fuzz, there's a lot of options in here, and it's definitely worth taking a look at. And now, here's the metalhead perspective. Go for it, buddy. So that's going to be your Stompbox Saturday for this week. Thanks again, Dev, for bringing the pedal by. And I'll see you guys next week for another Stompbox Saturday. And until then, happy stomping. Cheers. See you next time.